6 games left in the season, less than 2 months. You finally found that magnum opus performance by Bryce with his young receivers. It could be dangerous for everybody, bro. I'm not gonna lie. There are things to be excited about, bro. I mean, that's all we've been asking for, but that was legitimate though. Like now, just find the middle ground of this. Find the middle ground of that and what that's supposed to look like every week, and then I think we'll be perfectly fine.
Like for real. First of all, welcome back, everyone. Panthers Nation podcast. As you can tell, like this has probably been like the most frustrating but fun season for a podcast I think we've ever done.
Yeah.
Because like they keep us on our toes. Every time we think they're gonna go one way, they go the exact opposite.
Dog, I had this thing, right? Especially when we're struggling, especially like the last couple of years. I had this thing where I'm like, hey, look, I'm gonna watch the first half. Don't show me anything in the first half, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and try. We're going to try again next week. I'm not wasting my time.
And for the record, he has to work third shift. He ain't no fake fan, all right?
Right.
It's a strategical.
It's strategic. I'm trying to make sure I got enough energy to be able to go to work.
Right.
And I'm trying to make sure I can still be a fan.
Yeah.
These boys, so far this season, through 11 games, there's only a couple times where they've allowed me to be able to get to bed early. New England and Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
Every other game, I've had to stay up to the very end to see, hey, what is going to happen. And, I mean, kudos to him. I mean, I ain't going to lie. Like, I said this on Twitter. I said, look, once a decade, we get a reincarnation of the Cardiac Cats.
If there's got to be one, look at – and because, you know, that's, like, been kind of the new wave for the Cardiac Cats because for whatever reason, Dave Canales loves to go to overtime and has – an incredible success rate in overtime. Yeah.
I mean, besides the Arizona game, that was the worst I've seen that team look in OT. Besides the Arizona game, I'm like, dog, they kind of cold with OT.
And if I'm not mistaken, that might have been Canales' first overtime or only overtime loss.
Did the Bucks game go to overtime last year? The one at home.
I don't know if it went to overtime or if it was there at the end. No, it did. Okay. That one did go to overtime. So 2 overtime losses to the Giants. Then you have the Giants game a win, the Cardinals game, the one in
last year,
Carolina, and then there was another one. I feel like there was an overtime. Maybe no, the Raiders almost did, but it didn't. Either way.
Yeah, but he's got a good success rate, in OT.
He's got more overtime games than Rivera had. In a while.
His fourth down conversion rate is kind of crazy for a quarterback that's with Rivera, you're playing with 6'5", 255
Riverboat Ron was easy to do.
That's very easy to do. With 5'9",
it's a whole different story. I mean.
You know what I'm saying? A quarterback that's the size of me and you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And willing to go for it on fourth down, like, let's go. Now, I know the analytics game says go for it, and I do agree. Once you're past, like, the 40, go for it.
In this day and age, the NFL is crazy to take. Because 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
Oh, good God!
You're punting that thing, or you're setting up for a long field goal that you're probably going to miss. And whether field goal kickers have gotten worse, or like you want to give your offense that chance. That's just how it's gone. But like we talk about, you said 2 words in your opening statement there that are like 2 phrases: magnum opus and middle ground, which is about the exact like calling cards for the Carolina Panthers. Right, getting the sweep over the Falcons finally.
Huge.
Ginormous.
Yeah.
And even though it wasn't your 30-0 game, you knew it wasn't going to be 30-0.
No, you're on the road,
divisional
opponent. We know it's going to be tough. How do you respond to adversity? That team and they've answered that question multiple times this year. But man, I still just the night and day difference. Even how the defense performed in that, in the first and second half, because games like that where Bijan Robinson's getting going. Drake London is rolling. We know how these games typically go in the Panthers' history.
Yeah,
they're gonna go for 40.
Yeah,
they're gonna put up some crazy numbers, break some franchise records on our head.
That's kind of how it goes.
It's gonna
be brutal.
That defense came out in the second half and cleared it all up. Claudius Sherrills, I gotta give credit to him because I cussed his name. You would not think I was a child of God how I cussed that man's name in that first half. Second half comes out, bro, he's smacking everything that's moving. Roseboom, who somehow seems to find his way to the ball on 4th and short or any short yard situation. I actually kind of like Roseboom to fly around and get to the football. That defense, man, they made play after play. We talked about him in the pre-show. Corey Thornton got his big opportunity in that game, and I was kind of wondering, was it Shaw Smith-White being injured or whatnot? They just decided Corey Thornton was better suited for that matchup, and I'll give him this: he played with the same level of aggression in the preseason in that game against Atlanta, and that's big time. He's a UDFA.
Yeah.
Another one of those UDFAs that Dan Morgan's hit on that's been able to be a contributor, which helps really flip a roster around kind of instantaneously.
Absolutely. And then you see, the front four regains its footing after getting, kind of eviscerated in that first half. And then as well, Merrick has quietly been just the player of the year, I think, for the Panthers defensively.
He's been everything that you saw on tape and what they said and all the write-ups about him. Being able to play a box safety, he can play around the ball, tackles great in space. He cleans up a lot of mishaps and miscues. There are a lot of plays that Murray makes that can end up being a 30, 40-yard game if he's not right there to clean it up. So, he plays a huge part in what we've done. Probably the best signing of this offseason as far as free agents goes.
Ooh, well, maybe not outside of Rico.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe that's a tough one too.
Yeah,
maybe the best defensive signing.
Definitely the best defensive signing of the guys. You had guys like Turk Warden, Bobby Brown, Trayvon Moehrig. Of the defensive signings, for sure the best. Rico Dowdle, of course. Did you see you saw the?
Yeah, of course. So the clip going around, obviously, I love it when and that's what I love about the NFL, and I feel like we don't see it enough in the other major sports, right? Like the mic'd up.
They may do it, but I think the NFL is so much more like intense because like we only got 17 of these.
Yeah, right.
So like these all of these matter.
Yeah, and so to hear him, say to set up, the fourth down to set up the go-ahead touchdown, right? Because that wasn't in overtime. That was
to set up the that was the one to take the lead.
Take the lead. Yeah. And to call his own play on that, which is not the first time he's done this. He is one of the better play callers the Panthers have because he did it, coming out of I believe it was the Dallas game. He did it in this game as well, and he knew it immediately.
Bro, yeah, and having that wherewithal, it just shows you. It's just the insight to how smart these guys are, and like to be a good to great NFL player. This is a guy Enrico that's been on the practice squad for several years prior to this year. I think he spent his first 3 years in the league on the practice squad. Finally got his big shot last year, and now has a shot here this year in Carolina. It kind of just shows you like these guys are ultra talented and how hard it is to even be at the elite. In the elite position in this league. So, to call your own shot like that, to hit on that, I'm gonna have a hard time letting him walk out the door.
It's gonna be tough. And he was grown and curated where?
University of South Carolina, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Develop here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say too much.
It was so upsetting though because we saw he was there the time frame that we were, and you saw the burst in the SEC against prime SEC defenses.
You just saw it, but and the unfortunate part for Rico Dowdle was that there was always a nagging injury that followed.
Yeah.
So these things he's doing, we're not surprised by. We knew he had great hands catching out of the backfield. We knew he was a great in between the tackles runner.
And
we knew he had the explosiveness. Always had that. But he just always had injuries that kind of hampered him, which led to him being undrafted. I'm surprised it took a team as long to recognize, especially that team out there in Dallas. I thought that especially with having Ezekiel Elliott at the time, a guy who could have used a guy to work in tandem with, I would have thought they would have tried to utilize that much earlier than what they did. But
it's like how many teams are pissed off at Jerry Jones more than they normally are for saying you've been doing nothing with this kid. Like we needed a running back last year, 2 years ago.
Bro, they waited so long, and this thing, obviously people would say, "Oh, y'all are just homers." I was like, bro, maybe not, but I strongly felt like I knew this kid had ability. Now to this extent, to do what he's done, to dominate the way he has, I don't know about that. I knew he could play the ball though. For
the offensive firepower, you could talk about homers, but we knew what Deebo Samuel could do. We knew what Rico Dowdle could do. We saw the explosiveness for both of them. Yeah. Deebo's starting to catch up a little bit of steam now. Back if Jay Daniels could stay healthy one way or the other.
They got a whole lot of problems going on up there in DC.
Well, when do they not, right? But no, it's going to be really, really tough to part ways with him. And Dan and Brant Tellis are going to be met with a real interesting situation because we've said it far often. And I will say, I think Chuba's starting to get into full health because he looked different.
He did. Now, and when he mentioned that after the game, that he's like, this is the healthiest he started to feel. He felt like he kind of rushed himself back. Yeah. Which again, as a competitor, you starting to see your backup make the.
He might have. I don't even necessarily know if he was the one to rush himself back. I think we talked about this last week, right? You start getting to this playoff mindset.
Yeah.
And you start going, okay, well, we've got two A1 running backs.
Yeah, you want to have them both available as soon as possible.
Because I was surprised when he came back as quick as he did.
Right.
And I think we all were.
What was the injury? The injury was a.
I want to say like a calf.
Yeah, it was a calf, I believe.
It was not something you like wanted to.
For a running back, that's pretty significant in terms of like how he runs, and I think and I hate that because it's made us look at him and how he runs differently. I'm like, bro, like this is not the same Chuba we watched last year. The Chuba we watched last year ran with more burst and ran with more power. This guy this year has been kind of,
which is what we talk about with Bryce Young coming off now the quote unquote ankle game, right? Like,
right. Oh my God,
like you see how much firepower he had, like that XL touchdown.
Oh yeah,
he zipped that thing and put it only where XL could catch it.
Bryce he doesn't have like otherworldly arm power, but his ball placement has always been his biggest attribute. He's coming out of college, and you're starting to see him more and more now with some of these big throws he's able to make. But the ball placement is typically on point. I think finally getting XL that big catch vertically down the field. That's what we've been waiting to see. And he had a couple other opportunities. He had a couple other plays there as well in that game where
the Jalen Coker 2-point conversion was that gave me shivers.
Dog. Hey, again, it's always against Atlanta.
Right? I know.
He has a thing against Atlanta, which I want you to have.
And Mercedes-Benz, too.
And Mercedes-Benz. That's his second home. I mean, he don't want more chips than they have. Let's just keep it a band. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I love to see that against a divisional opponent, being able to step up. We got to figure out how to get him to play that way against the Saints. That seems to be the team that always gets him on the brink of being unemployed. Like,
it was his first 2 games for his first 2 years. Yep. The Monday Nighter, which was wild to have that for your first game ever.
People really believed in what we were selling that year.
Right, absolutely. And then the first one on the road.
Oh my goodness.
The first 2 on the road to Atlanta and New Orleans last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it the first 2 on the road?
I believe it was the first 2 on the road.
I do remember New Orleans being on the road last year because we got bounced.
Yeah, that was the very first game, and then no, it couldn't have been because the Falcons was on the road the last game of the year. So, no.
Right.
It wasn't.
Right.
But regardless, getting him to play that way against the Saints is going to be, paramount. But all to say, like we talked about it, I want y'all to be prepared for a potential goose egg against the 49ers. Because, like, outside of the stretch of Miami to, Dallas, and then I believe Falcons.
Yeah.
Was it Falcons then Patriots? No, it was Falcons then Patriots.
It is Falcons then Patriots.
Yeah, you're Miami, then Dallas, and then New York, which even wasn't really a great showing.
It was not.
There hasn't been a whole lot of like Miami to Dallas was the most consistent, like 2 back-to-back ridiculous wins.
Well, back-to-back 30-point games.
250+ yards for Rico. Like you had almost similar scripts for both of them.
Yeah.
So not to say that I'm doubting them. I'm not going to pick them. I'm not going to pick a score.
Mm-mm.
But in Santa Clara on prime time, which we did the math there. The first time we're seeing C-Mac.
Yeah.
C-Mac versus T-Mac. So, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of those where I'm like, if based on how our season has gone thus far, I would have to say wouldn't be smart to put your money on them.
I would not.
Now, if you want to make some good bread, why not?
Look at the odds got to be
like, again, I've accepted what this team is. I've accepted that this team isn't gonna give me what I want to see in terms of consistency. There's still a chance they can with 6 games left, but I'm kind of cool on the idea. I mean, I would love to go get a win in Santa Clara. First of all, this would be huge for our playoff hopes. See, go win in Santa Clara. Now I can really talk big cash, you know what I'm saying, shit about making the playoffs. We about to win the division, all that. Because there's another team in the division that's bleeding out right now, it seems, and they can't seem to stop it. So, and we right there on y'all too. You know what I'm saying? Best believe, don't run. You know what I'm saying?
Because look we're going to be right there with you. And I think, like, it's going to be interesting, like you said. But this is a real statement game, right? This is your especially because prime time for Carolina has been non-existent You know, the last
outside the Cam Newton era,
even in the Cam Newton era,
it was still hit or miss.
It was still hit or miss. Up until really 2015 was the only year you had consistent primetime wins. I think.
Cap. Monday night, not Monday night against New England. So it was 2013. That was the start of it.
That was the start of it. But then even I remember, I feel like the next year
we were.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, 2015 was the only year we had multiple primetime wins.
Yeah.
In my recent memory, because then 2017, 2019, like.
God, we did have a lot. We had a lot. I think that's where all our primetime wins damn near came. I think we had like 3 of them that year.
Well, because it was the Colts. We
had a Sunday night football game too that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like it was the Colts. I feel like it was the Saints, I want to say, maybe. And then another one on the road. I think the first 2 were at home.
Yeah.
And then there was another one on the road. I'm trying to remember where it was.
The Colts is the only one that I can remember off the top of my head. Cause it was a
ridiculous
game.
And TD got the pick. TD had like 3 game-saving picks that year because he had ones against the Packers too.
Yeah.
But that one wasn't primetime. Either way, primetime has not been, their forte to the point where, like, I hated hearing the Monday night music. Or, like, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want it. I do not want it. And now, like, Bryce hasn't played a primetime game since his career starter. And the 49ers is always a little bit of a tinge there. Yeah.
That's a well-coached team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Robert Saleh defense.
Mm-hmm.
Got Kyle Shanahan offense. I don't know what to expect. That team is banged all to hell.
Yeah.
But I don't – it doesn't matter. That's how much I respect them. It does not matter to me who they have on the field. I know that they still have George Kittle.
Yep.
Still have Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
And they have a great defensive
So
coordinator.
he didn't practice on Thursday for some reason.
Who, Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey did not. It says resting player, so
he's gonna play.
Yeah,
like he gets Carolina. I know for sure he's
yeah.
gonna be.
It'll be the return of him. It'll be the return of Eddie Pinheiro, our favorite.
Is he playing this week? I thought I saw them sign the kicker this week.
They might have. I don't know because he didn't practice for a right hamstring. Brock Purdy was a full practice. Trent Williams was resting, didn't practice. Robert Beal with a concussion did not practice, so don't think he'll be playing. Panthers, though, both Roseman and Wallace did not practice.
Not great.
Not ideal. Outside of that, though, a clean card for Wharton, Young, McMillan, Leggett, and Ransom. So that's always good to see.
How Bryce Young finished that game with that ankle, boy?
I do not know.
Because I was convinced he was done for today.
I was too.
Yeah, that's it's crazy to think now he has the greatest performance of any Carolina Panthers quarterback.
Because Cam always had it all purpose. Any of his 400-yard games.
Right. Like his only 400-yard games were in his rookie year, and then
literally the first 2.
Yeah, first 2, and then after that, you didn't see that again. But like you said, all-purpose games were like. But even still, I mean, I think there are probably better performances, like overall performances, but like as far as like statistically,
yeah,
he's got the best one. But I mean, I don't know. That performance he put on was cold, though, boy.
He really was playing for like his life. He heard all the doubts. He heard the doubts from us, like saying, "Look, you got to show us something." And one game, of course, does not make a franchise quarterback, but I think it's the resiliency to continue to bounce back and not let things fall to the wayside, like start to snowball down on you.
Because that has happened before. With him at the helm.
Absolutely.
Things have started to snowball, and I do appreciate the fact that he's able to rectify it. Like, hey, man, let's stabilize it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to be able to have the wherewithal to be like, so at the end of the first half, right, you get down 21-7. Very easily could just pack this on.
Yeah, and the NFL, that's
right. And we've seen at times in previous years where they would have got that opportunity to score late in the half that they would have fumbled it off and they would have tricked it off and it would have been 21-7 going into half. They drive it down the field, had a chance at a touchdown there. It was a good play made by the defense in the end zone. But
yeah.
But you go out now, you get the points. You go 2-for-1. You get a 2-for-1 scenario. You script it out perfectly. Go score before the end of the half. Go score out of halftime.
Flip this
now
on
the pressure's
head.
right there on it, back on them. Your defense balls out. Also, prayers to Michael Penix. He had partially torn ACL.
Yeah,
done for the year.
That and of course, Birds fans are gonna be like, well, I'm like, okay, Kirk Cousins didn't really, at that point the game was going to go the way it was going to go.
Being a backup quarterback throws into that situation, that is a tough ask of a guy.
Is.
Like you're right, like you especially when you haven't practiced this all week, like you're having to come in the heat of a game, try to maintain a lead, and the only thing he's pretty much being asked to do is don't throw it away for us. You know what I'm saying? We'll try to maintain it as best as possible. Hopefully our defense can get enough stops. Shout out to our offense for nullifying that. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be rough for their future going forward, especially with the lack of picks that they have. But yeah, like it just really showed like you're not going to back down. You're not going to just allow things to be the way that they are, and hopefully they take that mindset and realize they're not. Don't get too big for your britches. You got to win, cool. You got a division sweep, cool. But like if you want to sniff the playoffs, pretty much only 2 losses you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the 49ers, because even if you want to sniff a wild card, you have to have other things happen. But 49ers losing out helps you.
Yeah.
The Bears have to pretty much lose most of their games.
And I don't think that's happening.
No,
right now either.
Because the 49ers also have a ridiculously easy end of the year schedule, like cupcakes outside of their divisional games. And then I think even the Vikings or the Lions, they're all in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
So wild card's really not your best bet. You can only afford to really give up losses to the Rams and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Because I don't foresee you taking down the Rams or the Seahawks for that matter.
Nah, the Seahawks are doable. Seahawks are
if
doable.
you can get after Sam Darnold, yeah.
Yeah, that's the most doable one. And even this game right here is doable. Like you can go win. I would not be surprised if those boys went and won a game just because of based off how this year is gone. Like if they did it, I'm like, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised.
No. With the way they played in Lambeau against the Packers,
right.
Like a team that is more healthy than the 49ers, a team that had a more substantial quarterback presence, more healthy defense,
yeah.
And least available weapons, that aren't injured now. It's really, and I hate to say it, but it is going to come down to how you can handle McCaffrey defensively.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where it comes down to.
I think the if you can keep this offense off script, keep them off schedule, you cannot I know how these 49ers offenses operate. They operate damn near like a triple option offense. They want to make sure that they stay ahead of the stakes, which every offense does. But how they go about doing it with the gap run scheme, it feels more like more like when you're watching Navy try to run the football on a regular basis. Obviously having George Kittle, that's a problem for us because we have not had a great success rate against decent tight ends.
Nope.
So figuring out whether you can do that. Stopping McCaffrey it's easier said than done. I will say if you found a way to stop Bijan.
Yeah.
I know you have it in you to get stops.
Yeah,
but James Cook also ran the daylight on you.
Yeah, yes he did.
But I also have a theory about those games though that we've dropped this year though too. But I'll let us continue first.
What?
Well, for me, I feel like the matchups are just bad on the AFC side. Those losses that you got blasted on. Those are the AFC East, and how they play football in those divisions. I think sometimes we kind of forget because we're only in our own world with our conference and our division about how we play football. But each division has an identity to it. And typically, you remember back in the day, we were smash mouth down the pound. We were better suited to face a Seattle team. Yeah. But sometimes when you get a team that can spread it out and go run gun and fun with it like a New Orleans Saints back in the day, at that point we would struggle. Those games would typically be our kryptonites. So I think for us, when you see teams that are the more physical ground and pound styles like a New England, like a Buffalo, that their basis of their game is now obviously Drake May's having a great year, but they still pride themselves on being having a physical presence. We struggle with those groups. In the NFC, that presence doesn't really exist outside of, I'd say, probably the Seahawks and I'd say the 49ers. Yeah. As far as teams that can run the ball like that heavily. Now, I haven't watched everybody else, so I don't too much really know. But it feels like some of the better teams in the AFC are more speed kills, like Detroit, for example. Detroit's a speed kills type of team with J-Mo and Jahmyr Gibbs. Whereas you see that Buffalo group, man, they don't have any receivers.
No, and they're about to bench old boy again, who I remember everyone saying. I remember everyone saying they wanted over XL.
Hey, man.
And just to get benched for a second week in a row is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'll say this, man. Credit to Dave Canal for being stubbornly to be stubbornly patient with XL, because I think we all would. I think as fans we would give up on him a while ago after some of those performances.
If he was, and I'll be the first to admit it, if he wasn't a South Carolina receiver, I probably would have.
I wouldn't have. Well, you see how we treated Mingo.
Or DJ Chark. Or TJ Marshall. God.
Now, to be fair, we were right about all those guys.
Or Terrence Marshall. Yeah, not TJ. Terrence Marshall Jr. I forgot where the J was. Yeah, no, I mean, those weren't hard. But like, XL to me, and people did say this, and it's funny because the number tracks. It's very Devin Funchess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, an absolute migraine of a wide receiver. Where
up and down. The physical ability is there if you ever put it all together. If this team wants to have a shot this year at making a playoff run, a playoff push in a playoff run, he's gotta be more involved. You gotta see more of those big time plays that he made in that Atlanta game. That's gotta happen more.
Because it seems like they don't really script for T-Mac to go down the field. Like, it's more so middle crossing routes, post routes. And then or these quicker out routes. Yeah. Like, we're not really seeing anything that you'd see from like a Coker down the field. Like, I think both pushing that presence downfield, which you allow for the run to do, you make them cheat up on you, so then you can go downfield on them, right? And Coker can get that fly route. XL's not going to get the separation like Coker's going to get behind the cornerback, but we've seen if Bryce and XL can be on the same page of where that ball's supposed to be, Bryce can get it to where only XL is going to catch it.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's really that'll open up your offense, and that's what we've said. In the weeks where they have won and done really well offensively, everybody has had a play. Mitchell Evans last week had a big play.
Yep.
The boy, the probably sportsman of the year. You know how they used to have that in high school and college.
Yeah.
Tommy Tremble,
bro,
catch one pass, and it's that.
Be the biggest of the game.
Like,
clinch it.
I mean, and you saw the heart in his run, because he got hit immediately when he caught that ball. Mm-hmm. The second he caught that ball,
he got out of there. I think we do be forgetting how good of an athlete Tommy Tremble is, though,
because we haven't called on him. And it's like you said a few weeks ago, because Bryce and Tremaine had another day like it. Yeah. You might not get your number called, you might not get to play, you might not dress out, but when you do,
I really like what Bryce Tremaine has done. When he's been called upon, the kid's been ready. He goes out there. He makes good. He just makes good football plays.
Well, you seen some of the blocks that he had in that game?
Yeah.
I think the one was the XL play.
Yep.
And then I think there was one of the Rico play too.
He had a block on that Tommy Tremble play as well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did. And that's been an absolute X factor to have that kind of blocking downfield.
And that he's a capable receiver as well. Not for nothing. He's a capable receiver. If I had to go to him I feel comfortable with, when the XL went down. I felt comfortable with Bryce and Tremaine being out there. Now, do I want XL out there because I know he's a bigger threat vertically down the field for sure. But Bryce and Tremaine, I know he's a smart. First of all, I know he's a smart receiver. I think he played at Stanford. I know he's an intelligent guy. I know he understands how to be a quarterback's best friend. There's definitely a place for him on this team. There's a place for him, and there's a place for players like that in the league in general. For sure.
Absolutely. I think you're going to get to a real serious conversation when the offseason comes around about, who of this offense you don't want to have around or who is not going to contribute. And there's, two guys that right now are a toss-up, and one from just a utilization standpoint and the other from a not being able to make good of his usage. You got Jimmy Horn on one end and then Jatavian Sanders on the other.
And I still feel as if, Jimmy Horn just got some more opportunities. Same way I felt about all our receivers. I just think he needs more opportunities to make some of these plays down the field. I think they're there.
I think so too.
And again, it's still Bryce isn't perfect. We know there's still things that get missed, and again, that's just the NFL in general. Like plays go unmade all the time. But I do still believe Jimmy Horn is a bit better than just being a gimmick.
I think you can see if it's a situation where you give him the ball in midfield, kind of like a college wide receiver, and just outrun you. Now defenses are zoned a little bit more restrictive in the NFL to where if you get past the linebackers, you aren't just going to be able to get an angle and outrun guys, right? But I think but even if even still to use them as a gimmick, there still has to be the ability those end arounds. Rico's the kind of person where that screen immediately worked right there. Mm-hmm. But you have Jimmy Horn coming around the end around with some momentum. it's going to be hard to, if you can block it right, it's going to be hard to bring him down. So even from a gimmick perspective, I would still like to see it a bit more,
Yeah, just more variety off of it. Like
Right.
I think that's the thing we're asking for now. Is like, yeah, you can use them on that. Like obviously continue to use them in that way that you found success in. But like where's the variety coming off of that?
And I think this is a perfect week to showcase that because a win's going to mean a shootout.
Bro, yeah. I think I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen this team win in different styles. I don't know how that game will actually go. The one thing I am excited about is that it should be good weather.
Yeah,
And
right.
so for Bryce's sake, if the weather's gonna be fine, it's gonna be mild. First of all, those boys are back home. I kind of need y'all boys to have a homecoming game. I kind of want y'all to ball out and just go. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking the same thing. Like for Canales, for Bryce, for T-Mac,
like bro, this
Jermaine,
is the perfect time to stunt. Like this is you're back in the home state for the first time. You know what I'm saying? I think for Bryce, this is maybe the first time he's been back home since he's been drafted at Carolina. Back in the state of Cali. I don't think we played any Cali teams in Cali since he's been drafted.
When we played the Rams after they
That was before Bryce.
That was before Bryce. Never mind.
Yeah. So I don't think he's been back to the West
The Chargers
Coast.
was here.
Yeah.
The Seahawks that was in Seattle, but he didn't play that game.
He didn't play that game.
Oakland was Vegas.
He didn't
play that game either. Yeah, you might be right. I don't think they've played. Yeah, I think you're right.
I kind of need them boys to go California cool on these boys, man. Start wax that ass. I kind of need it. Kind of need that.
And that might provide some extra perspective, right? And some extra want to do so. And I I don't think they've ever also worn the black helmets on the road.
Yeah, no, this is different.
I like it.
I do too.
I like it a lot. Yeah. I like the black, white with the black socks.
Yeah,
it's going to look clean.
It's gonna be different.
I don't know what the 49ers are wearing. I assume something to that effect of maybe – I don't know if they're wearing their rivals' ones or not.
No, it won't down. All the rivals is safe for the division opponents.
Oh, was it? Mm. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. Because I wish they would have both teams wear them. That was one thing I wanted. Like they only one of them wears them at a time.
One wear them at a time.
And I'm gonna be heated waiting. Why are we the last?
Hell, they may cancel it by the time it.
That's what I'm afraid.
It's probably gonna get canceled
if they don't get enough jersey sales. Color Rush only lasted
my whole thing is like this. We already know we have the best. Now that we have just new people in the franchise that are actually allowing us to use different combinations of the jerseys, you start to realize now, damn, they've kind of had some of the coldest jerseys in the league for a long time. I will say, I don't think the other blue would have worked how the process blue works with some of these combinations.
No, the only way that all blue worked was all blue together, and it looked really clean. It did look clean with the white. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it look with the white.
And it made the silver helmets look the best. The silver helmets have looked that Color Rush year.
Yeah.
Was the best that the blues ever looked and the silvers ever looked. But yes. I agree with you on some of the other ones, like with the blue socks, the different color, when it was that tealer blue.
Yeah.
Didn't always look great.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I like that. I think I very much like this blue, like the process blue, better than that teal.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But I think and it's off topic, of course, but when they get there, it's I'm hoping for a 90s kind of script, bring the graffiti font back.
That'd probably be the only way you can get me to buy a Panthers jersey, because I have a hard time wanting to buy jerseys. One, just because I just think they're too damn expensive.
They are.
Two, because I think I just don't like jerseys from a stylistic standpoint for me personally, so I don't buy them. I'd rather just buy your merch. I'll buy a T-shirt, which you want it, but I kind of refuse to buy a jersey.
We also came up at a time where the Panthers were then it was you buy the jersey, boom, they're gone. Buy the jersey, boom, they're gone.
How many jerseys I had, bro? What was the jerseys that I had? I grew up. I got Steve Davis joint, which shout out to Steve Davis for signing my jersey. Steve Smith. Could never get him to sign it, and I had a Deshaun Foster, 26 Deshaun Foster.
I had the 26 is real. I think I had a Peppers, obviously. I think I had a Steve Smith, Deshaun Foster, and then I think the next one I bought for the first one I bought for myself was a John Beeson jersey.
John Beeson's cool. I like that.
Yeah, John Beeson was ridiculous. But all that to say, I think it's all lining up to where it could be a really easy situation to really blow up or to fall flat on your face. Yeah. And to be honest, I think the one thing we've learned this season is to stop making brash decisions about what this team is or isn't depending upon one game. Because the minute you say that they're one thing, they turn around and show you that they're another. Yeah. And that's a byproduct of not being a team that's completely there yet, but is also not completely at the bottom of the barrel.
Right. Here's the thing I tell fans I wish they do, man. Just enjoy this. Just enjoy it. I think we get too caught up, and obviously we've lost a lot. And I understand that does wear on you as a fan. This team though has shown every like you said, every time you doubt them, they respond. When you try to get too high on them, they'll also respond to that.
That
as well.
They will.
Just let it be. I think, bro, I've accepted that this team probably isn't gonna show me the consistency that I'm looking for, and that's fine. This is a team that's learning and growing. I'm just gonna accept every game for what it is. I will say this though, Bryce is my quarterback. For me personally, I'm cool. I've made peace with what he is and what he isn't. I've made peace with his highs and his pitfalls. I think I can work with this, because if I look outside, there isn't a quarterback in free agency that's coming. There isn't a quarterback in the draft that I think is worthy of me like trading pieces up or trying to fight it. I don't think so. Nobody's worth me trying to reset this thing here. I've seen enough to be able to be like, let's work it. Let's make it work.
And they've shown you draft good players and good weapons, and you make it work. Like, the hindsight's 20/20, but looking back at the weapons they gave Bryce his rookie year.
Oh my God. Well, it ain't between 20 for some of y'all. I saw it right there in front of me the first time. I was dunking on that the entire offseason. When them boys told me DJ Chark is gonna replace DJ Moore, I said, y'all can go to hell. Because y'all got me bent, bro. What?
I'll admit I was a bit more excited for Miles Sanders and
now Miles Sanders did disappoint me. Yeah, that I was very
and Hayden Hurst as well. And if Hayden Hurst had stayed healthy,
I thought we could have
but of course there's a little bit of homerness in that as well.
Yeah, of course.
But outside of that, like, if you give Bryce good weapons, I don't think there's any reason why you move off of him. You don't draft like for Bryce-specific players, because I don't think that works in the NFL for quarterback-specific players. Just give them good players, and it's going to pan out. The biggest thing that's going to happen, because like you said, there's nobody in the draft, nobody in free agency. I mean, we had real accounts putting up numbers to say that, the odds were Kyler Murray would be the next quarterback at the Carolina Panthers.
You should stop that.
Right. Or like pitching, Sam Darnold or, Mac Jones. And I'm like, all right, we need to pump the brakes. The only thing that can be done, I think, to more solidify that is obviously his growth and development, his trust in Canales and Canales' trust in him as well.
Yep.
And then potentially maybe getting a active and true signal caller in the building.
Yeah.
I think that might be the turning point for Dave Canales to allow for someone else to take over that responsibility.
Yeah.
But, that's neither. But you're right. For me, like, why try to move off of him when, like, he's showing you what he can do? And in the games when, like, and I get the thought process, because in the games he plays well, they win. In the games he plays poorly, they lose. But, like, the patience needs to be had. And I think it was Greg Olson who said that. Like, you're looking at it like there's been this mindset of, like, quarterbacks need to get immediate success when they come out of college, but they're being drafted to the worst teams. So why do you expect them to be able to perform the best? And that's when you get this now, like, renaissance. It's not really a renaissance. Daniel Jones was probably the same quarterback he was then that he is now from a talent and a physicality perspective, but Shane Steichen is a much better coach, and the Colts are in a much better position than the Giants were.
Exactly.
Like, and it shows, because even Jackson Dart, who arguably might have more talent coming out of college than Daniel Jones did, is still going to fall to the wayside if the team around him.
If they can't get the coach situation right, and they can't get the talent situation right around him, he's going to struggle. Infrastructure matters with all of these guys. That's the main thing.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the Bears. Justin Fields getting benched this week.
Right.
Caleb Williams is looking like he's actually the quarterback they wanted him to be.
Right. You get the right coach around him. You get the right infrastructure there. Everything looks a lot different, man. But we know that plays a huge factor into the success of some of these guys. That's why when some of these guys get called bust, I'm like, it's unfortunate, bro, because we never talk about the coaches that were coaching these guys.
Like, and not even the coaches, but we talked about it, at the end of the Cam Newton's era and coming into Bryce, like the turnaround of offensive coordinators. like to go one to the second to the third. Like, you know, Cam had how many offensive coordinators in his time frame there? 5 at least.
5, yeah.
You know, and it's good when your coordinator gets hired up. Like, that means he was what you thought he was. But then that's going to that's a whole new reset. And for, you know, Bryce Young, immediate of you know, multiple different, you know, offensive coordinators or lack thereof, head coaches that were offensive coordinators, which is even more of an issue.
Right, and that's the main thing too with Bryce is that, like, you know, once you start to find these glimpses of success, I mean, you just got to keep building upon it. So that's why I'm like, it's been tough because I know people. I think we were all rushing to see what, you know, when can we get back to being successful and everything. But again, I think we still got to remember Dave and Bryce were all learning at the same time. Like, if we're gonna scrub the rookie year from Bryce, because I think most of us typically do, then we do have to understand that, like, Dave Canals was still coming in with very little play calling experience at this level. So I mean, there's still room for him to grow. I think he's been one of the more impressive things about this team too. Seeing him figure out different ways to win games, like how to call it differently. Like, I think seeing him and how he's won with different styles, one with a ground and pound style for a few games there, one with an air raid style here this past weekend. Like, figuring out how to balance the two, and you know, I think overall it's still an execution thing with Bryce and this offense, but I think I've seen good enough things from those two to be like, hey, look, I hope y'all enjoy working together, because we kind of need y'all boys to figure out and click, because this is probably going to be the tandem that we're going to have to use going forward.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you just have that patience, right? Like, it baffles me. And I think what you talked about, like, we were all waiting for it, and I think it's because the only other time the Panthers had the number 1 overall pick, right? It's Cam Newton. That's a much different situation. It was like the measurables are off the charts, the talent's off the charts,
right.
and he was coming in with a first-year head coach as well in Ron Rivera, but they gave him, you know, he had a substantial offensive line, a defense that was still solid.
Great running backs.
Had
a wide receiver 1 already there.
Yeah, and even if he was a vet, he was still, you know,
he was
still a Hall of Famer.
Steve Smith at that point.
And so, but even then, you go 6-10 your first year, 7-9 your second, and to the point where Rivera was about to be fired in his third year.
Started out 1-3 the same way this team did in that third year.
Yeah, he was about to be fired. And then went and won 8 games straight, and turned that, and then won the division, and then lost in, you know, the divisional round. Like,
right.
Had a bye, you know, like. Yeah. So I think that's where it's like, you know, you can't put it all on, like, Bryce obviously isn't that kind of Superman ability, Superman talent, but, like, when he's calm, cool, and collected and confident, he's a killer. He's a killer, and so allow for him to have that grace of saying, you know, it's going to be up and down. The consistency is not going to be there off the rip, and that's okay. So as long as there's a positive progression, which we've seen for Canales in this year and company in this year to last, like, you're going from 5 wins, you've now
eclipsed that.
6.
So this has been a successful season.
Basically brand new, right? Like,
yeah, like this has been a success. Now, I would love to see you get, you know what I'm saying, maybe like to 9.
9 would be
you know
wow.
what I'm saying? Get to 9 wins.
You gotta beat the Saints.
Gotta beat the Saints. Gotta beat the Bucks.
At least split.
From
a playoff perspective, you need a sweep.
You need a sweep.
But at the very least, split.
I think these next 2 weeks though are huge for me. If you come out 1-1 over these next 2 weeks,
which
now, like you said, you need the 49ers win more than you need the Rams win.
Yeah.
Just from tiebreakers and all of that stuff. You want to have that. If you can split these next 2 games, you come out 7-6. Then what? Then you have a bye. You have a bye week, which finally,
I mean,
you get a chance to get a rest, bro.
A post Thanksgiving bye.
Yeah,
is wild.
I think right now we're just trying to scrap and claw and make it. So right now, like you said, you have these next 2 games. You split one. You split these next 2, 7-6. 7-6 going into New Orleans. Now you gotta really.
You gotta hunker down. You
gotta hunker down.
You cannot go 0-2
because you're in playoff mode now.
And you can't go 0-2 against the Saints.
You cannot. You literally cannot. If you want to have a chance at the playoffs, forget the rivalry. Just for a chance at the playoffs, you can't go. You can't.
I'm flipping it. I'm saying forget the playoffs. From a sheer moral standpoint, you cannot go 0-2 against the Saints. Against this Saints.
Nah, This is not the group to do that.
I can't. Like, that'll keep me up at night.
Then the bye week in between that Saints game, which I think it comes at a perfect time.
Oh, yeah.
Saints, then Bucks, then Seahawks. I don't hate. It's really just figuring out these next two. These are the two, and I ain't gonna say I ain't giving us a shot.
No.
These boys are proving that wrong. It just, I'm scared. I ain't gonna sit there and say I'm scared, man. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
That's the thing. Like, from a pride perspective and from like a hell yeah, like real football in December, I'm like, yeah, I want the win, but in the very real sense, like, they can do what they want. As like I am. It's hard. I'm very, like, my perspective on the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you know what I believe, but from a sheer pride perspective, I do want them to win and to get to the playoffs.
I think these boys need it.
I'm not going to burn the building down though if they don't.
No, I'm not gonna burn the building down either. I think at that point they've kind of exceeded what we thought of them. Now, from a pride perspective, man, I would love to see this team continue to do it because this city feels a lot different.
Oh yeah.
In the years I've been here, we've been the worst I think we've ever been as a franchise. So for me, if they can continue to win, get his city.
Maybe
some
you're
pride.
the problem.
No, that was as before I got here. It was as before I got here. Cam got released before I even got to the city, bro.
This is true. This is true. No, yeah, no. Get these big wins, and I'll say I'll trade a not embarrassing loss, mind you, but I'll trade a sizable loss against LA at home for a standout win on prime time.
Go get a standout win on prime time. I kind of need. Like you said, it's gonna mean more down the road to win that game. Now, obviously, you don't want to lose at home, regardless.
No, but
matchups are matchups, and sometimes you just got game is game.
Chalk it up. Like 2 wins would be spectacular, unreal.
Go do that, then everything's different.
Everything's different.
You go into that round. You go into that Saints game with a bye week, an extra week off, guys. For the guys that need it, I know y'all boys need it desperately to get a chance to get back healthy.
Because I also don't love having the short week for the Rams. That's not ideal.
I don't either. So I think go beat the 49ers.
Yeah. Take advantage of it. I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to call it.
No.
I'm not going to do it. But God forbid, if you let Eddie Pinero make a game winner, I'm not going to say what I thought. There will be words, and there will be tears, and there will be cursing.
I gotta watch that game from the comfort of my crib. My home. My cousin gave me. I think my cousin wanted me to come pull up and watch the game with him. I said, I don't know if I can do that, bro.
You saw what I tweeted about, like, especially watching the Super Bowl. If we have been doing the podcast, and I'll say this right now, if we ever get to the Super Bowl, knock on wood, I will not watch it with you.
No.
Respectfully, 100%. Respectfully,
we both have an understanding that we won't watch any games together.
No.
I think it's better for us. I'll do what I gotta do to help this team win a championship.
I will. I will make that sacrifice.
You feel me? Now, I tell you right now, if we do ever get one,
oh lordy,
boy, I tell y'all boy right now, you see me at that parade. No, you didn't, cause I'm about to show my whole ass.
I'll be live streaming Petey Pablo, and it'll be my pants around my head like a helicopter.
Brother, the way I'm about to show my whole natural ass if we ever were to win a Super Bowl in that parade. Brother. What?
No. It will. I will take off of work. I do not care.
Oh, I'm taking off of work Monday.
I am saying this as a sports reporter who works in Charlotte, North Carolina. I will be not. I'll be sick that day.
That's crazy.
I'll be sick that day. I do not care.
Oh, did you see the clip? Because I know we're getting towards the end. Did you see the clip of Cam reacting to Bryce dabbing?
Yeah, loved it. Look at the fact. Bryce doing it in the first place. It was a crazy pull, right?
Yeah. Hey, bro, that's
healing. That's healing.
That's right here,
That's
bro.
love.
History right here, dog.
Yeah, right?
Because I don't think y'all boys understand, bro. Like, I don't, man. Everybody within Panther Nation knows, but, bro, Cam means so much to this franchise in terms of, like, changing the feeling around it, giving you that belief, having you to have the confidence to rock your gear outside, bro, was that didn't exist until Cam got there.
Different.
Now, obviously, you had the teams that were good, but prior to that, of course. But like, it never felt so immense. Like you gotta rep it.
And Jeff, if y'all remember, co-hosted the podcast a while back, we would have this argument between Cam and Jake and like who was the best player for the Panthers, best quarterback. With Cam and Smitty. Jake, Steve Smith, Julius Peppers,
brother.
all like
Love y'all.
but they were all
Dearly.
underdogs. They were always the cardiac cats. That's why they were called that. Cam was prime.
We got to walk in as the man. That was
Like-
the first time I can ever remember as a fan. We got to walk in as the man.
Dominant.
And we actually was smoking y'all asses.
Dominant. Dominant. And even if you lost in the playoffs, like Seattle on the division, the conference championship, or like, the 49ers the year before, still you lose 49ers, but you beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in your home, or you have, monster games, against Dallas on Thanksgiving. A win on Thanksgiving in Dallas.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think John Ellis, one of the best Panther Twitter pages around. I think he spoke on the 03 team. He was like, that team didn't beat a team with a winning record that year.
No.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, how you get there doesn't even matter. But like I said, but just to the point of that, like those Cam teams, we were going in beating. We were standing toe to toe with the best of them. We went to the 12th man, bro.
And you had
prime LOB and went in there and took one.
Oh my God! And
on,
and then you had it was ridiculous, right? You had ridiculous games. You had the plays that he would run, and from a defensive perspective as well. Like you had Thieves Avenue, and you had your your linebacking core. Like it was just it was a different story.
Yeah.
So this is what and that's what I think people hoped for when Bryce came about was Cam was really he was Superman because the offense was lackluster. Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams were in the tail ends of their careers. So was Steve Smith. Defensively, you're in a weird in between stage. You didn't get Luke Kuechly until the second year, then you get him, and obviously he makes a huge
Transformed
impact.
that year,
right? But your edge rushers nothing against Charles Johnson or
Addison,
right? But they were role players basically.
solid guys, but nothing like.
And then obviously from a cornerback's perspective, you had no defensive backs. You had
bro. Josh Norman going from potentially being cut after his rookie year to becoming the player he became was kind of crazy.
And then you had obviously your Thieves Ave was consistent more than with Trey Boston, Kirk Coleman, James Bradbury, but Cam was that guy, and so people were like, all right, well, the Panthers don't have anybody now. We need some players when Bryce comes about. McCaffrey's gone, DJ Moore's gone, Kuechly's gone. Anybody that's there is gone, and so people I think were hoping for that same kind of it wasn't too far removed too, less than 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, or just barely 10 years, I think.
But I think we found some of our cornerstones. I believe J.C. Horn's a cornerstone. Derek Brown, who is the best interior defensive lineman in the game of football.
Yeah, I don't want to hear this Quinn and Williams stuff. And come on
bro,
now,
please.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I know. No offense to those guys.
No,
but Derek Brown is just legitimately. I don't know if I've seen a guy outside of as far as on a every down basis. Aaron Donald obviously is the best defense. I think him and Lawrence Taylor are the best two defensive linemen of all time in my book.
Yeah. But this is like a Vincent, Vince Wilfork,
right. And
you're not gonna run by me.
You're talking about a guy that has got run stuff and ability of a Vince Wilfork, but also can apply pressure in the passing game. It can legitimately get to the quarterback. Yeah. As an interior guy that affects every single play. I don't know how many guys at that position I've seen affect every play on a consistent basis. Derek Brown, how he plays, he's been playing his ass off.
Absolutely. And for the first year, where he probably hasn't needed to.
Right, this is the first year I think he's had actual legitimate help everywhere. Obviously Bobby Brown, Ashawn, who's been great.
Turk,
Turk made some plays, and Turk's really I've loved that sign as well. But nonetheless, but just that we are starting to garner some of these cornerstone pieces. We're just waiting on the other side of the ball to find theirs.
Yeah, which I think you found it as well. Look, and we've said it, and I've said it every week, and I'll say it, and I'll continue to take my lumps. I was wrong about T-Mac. I was wrong.
Oh, buddy, what were we wrong?
Very wrong about T-Mac.
Because I don't know, because we've never seen a receiver like this in our history in terms of just how quickly he's assimilated into the game from a rookie year perspective.
There's only one,
but it didn't look like this, though.
And I'm not gonna say it because I'm too superstitious of a person to do that.
Yeah, I won't say it either. But even with that guy,
it was just red zone. Really,
it was just kind of red zone. It kind of felt it was just more so relying on physical ability, whereas this feels like skill.
Yeah, I mean, and the separation, the catch rate, everything that Canales and Dan said he brought to the table, he does. Your game speed, your arm length,
and it's more sustainable, I feel like, than the other guy too.
Yeah, I mean, from a pure just physical standpoint, like it's going to be allowed for stretching the field down and for this type of cornerback in the NFL too, like it works out very well. XL again, he's a toss up. When they figure the biggest thing, like I said, we've said about it before we go, like the biggest thing is going to be figuring out what you do with Chuba and Rico. Like it's going to be a real cornerstone decision.
Coming up in the offseason for sure. I will say in terms of moving forward for the rest of the season, those two are gonna have a game. The bet, like how we saw Chuba run this past weekend, where it was
they're gonna have a double game, like
they're gonna have a double trouble type of game. It's coming. I don't know when, and I would love for it to be this week because going on the road, I'd love to be able to control the line of scrimmage, run the rock, and play time of possession.
It's your best chance to really dominate in this game. And then I also say, if there's someone else I would bring on defensively to try to allow for like Morik against I love Morik spying on like CMC, right? Like that's going to be great. But I also would think you elevate, and if he can fully practice, bring in Lathan Ransom.
I think did he participate today?
I think he was a limited practice, but
it will be necessary.
It will be necessary. Like, and it's funny because he wears 22. So, but I'm serious because that for meeting someone at the line of scrimmage, there's no one more fearless that I've seen than Lathan Ransom. From meeting you at the point of attack. Like, Morig will wait a minute, but he'll get on you, right? I've seen Nick Scott fly up a bit, but, like, you're going to need, Ricky Pearsall is going to be in. Obviously, Juwan Johnson. Like, there's going to have – it's very middle of the field. So, bringing in a nickel, whether it's, or bringing in an extra, a dime situation, like, especially if we don't know the health of Boom and Wallace, which we hope both of them are going to be able to play because if not, it's a bit of a different story. I think it'll be really interesting and hopefully some good, primetime TV. The first chance I've had in a while to not have to worry about one way or the other and actually watch the game.
That's gonna be fun, bro.
Right.
Like I said, I will not be at work that day. I don't know if they know that. They don't have to. Well, you'll find out when you find out.
But until then, keep pounding.